Oh boy, it has been a day, people. Let me tell you, it has been a day. So, how is everyone tonight? I am doing well. Are you enjoying your Halloween, your holiday? Hopefully, you are. If you're out there, say hello to me in the comment section. If you want to come aboard, I can put the link here and you can come and talk to me about the the topic tonight, which is, do you feel seen in the BBS? I'm so sorry. I'm still getting used to this stuff. But our topic tonight is, do you feel seen in your relationships and do you feel understood? The reason why I asked that question is very simply this. Um, I noticed that people go months and years and really truly don't see the other person that they're with until it's too late. Why do we do that? Why and sometimes I think that we don't want to see that person um is actually um I posted the link in the group on the StreamYard. Do you see it there? But yeah, I posted the link there. It's under BBSG Worldwide. But this topic is important to me because as I mature and get older and wiser, I find that when I look at people now, I really didn't know or looked at or really didn't see them as human. Not no, let me that's a wrong choice of words. I saw them as human, but I didn't see them. Like you look into the mirror and see yourself and you see, all your your flaws and your hair and you look deep into your own eyes and you can see your own soul because you understand that you exist and not in this body. But do we look at other people like that and see that other person as really, really human? Like they have fears, they have tears, they have failures, do we really understand that about each other? I don't think we do sometimes. I think we surface see each other. We see this, you know, we don't really see the person as who they really are. And that's a problem. I think, the discussion and the conversation has to be had about why we refuse. Or maybe we don't refuse, we just don't know how to really look deep into a that we're interested in or that we say we love, or even just somebody in front of us. Why we are not paying attention to that person for real. Okay, hold on. Let me grab the new one. Hold on. For the guest. Invite guest. Okay, clipboard. All right, let me try this. All right, just sent it again. Hopefully that did it. Yeah, that's a different one. Okay. But Hopefully everybody understand what I'm saying. Go home, and I implore you to go home tonight, or just get in front of somebody and ask them. Yeah, I just posted it. I just posted it again. And it is different. It's a different link. Hold on. Let me try this again. Hold on, guys. Please don't leave. Hold on, Ish. I see what you're saying. Hold on just a minute. I am looking for. Okay. Okay, I'm back, guys. I am trying to figure this out. Oh, okay, wait a minute. I got somebody. There he is. There's my boo.
Hello.
Hey, Mark, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay. What's up?
Not much, man. Not much. My conversation so far has been about do we really see each other, and do we understand who we're looking at? Like, say for instance, you're at a party with someone, and you're talking to that person, and you're really, that person's telling you about their life story, or they're just making small talk, or whatever. Have you ever zoomed into that person and really paid attention to everything that a person says, um, to the letter, and how they say it, and what makes them them? Because I feel like we're a lot of us are not being seen and heard in our relationships with each other, and that to me can become a problem, trying to move into a new area where I mean, come on, a lot of us don't want to get in relationships because we don't want to do, it's too much work trying to get that person to really get to know you again. You spent so many years, or you spend so many years trying to get that person to really understand who you are as a person, what makes you tick, what makes you get up in the morning, what makes you smile, what makes you hug them tighter. You're really trying to, to let them know that, and they're looking at the shell of you. They're not looking at the inner man in you. They're not looking at the inner person. They're not even feeling that person. They feel some things you do, you know and they understand, they hear some things you hear, or see some things that you see. But the core of most people are not people that are standing in front of you and really see that you're a person, that, you hurt like they do, you go through pains like they do. We can say all day long. Some people tell you all day long, yeah, girl, I go through this, and yeah, I'm feeling this, and he did this and he did, but unless you really understand that person, when they're saying to you, I know where you're at. I know, I've been there. I've felt the same fears and insecurities and pains and joys and happiness, and I felt all of that. And sometimes I think we are not looking at each other. We're looking at each other from back there. Spirit lifters. Hello everyone. I got Mr. Hugh coming in. Hello, Hugh.
Hey, I'm trying to get this to work.
Okay, we can see you. But Mark, can you say something so far to what I said?
Yeah, I think the real issue is why are we with those people?
That's the main issue is why do we cling to those kind of people? It's like we're trying to prove something. We're trying to be seen. That's why we stay, because we're trying to be seen.
Well, that's the problem. I don't think the problem is the people who don't see us. I think it's our problem for being with people who don't see us.
I think it happens often, and not only just in relationships, though. I think that sometimes children don't see their parents as parents. They don't see them as once, young women and men that were single, didn't have any kids. They don't see that, because once your children see you as parents, they just see you either as an ATM or, someone to go to when they're in trouble. But do your kids really see that at one point in time, mom and dad had problems just like they did? Mom and dad went through the same thing, and you know, the growing pains. Do your kids understand that? And it's not just in relationships, it's just with people, period. Even at your job, does that person really know you? Do they really see you as human, or are you just another number that just came through?
Another number that just came through.
Yeah,
But
unfortunate.
see, this ain't hard. All right. How do I listen to you? Just
Hmm.
me and you, our relationship. Do I
Hmm.
listen to you?
Yeah, for
Do
the
I
most.
see you?
Yeah,
How hard is it for me to do that?
it's not hard because
You know why? Because you're interesting. You're
I
interesting.
what?
You're interesting.
Okay.
Not everybody is.
Hmm.
Some people ain't worth being seen because there's nothing to see.
I got you. I feel you on that.
And this is the point that I make to you, and I try to make this to Mariella. Um, y'all guys got to understand that you do not represent the whole.
Hmm.
You don't. So don't speak for the whole. Don't act like these all of these women is on the same level as you guys are, because they're not. A lot of them don't have anything beyond the surface.
Hmm.
Once you get past their ass and their titties, what else is there to see? I mean, you're seeing everything really that they want to show you. What are we going to do? What we going to talk about spirituality? Are we going to talk about what's going on in the world today? Are we going to talk about socioeconomic and political issues? What are we talking about besides your ass and your tits?
Right.
So not everybody, not everybody needs to be seen. Not everybody has anything to see.
Right.
And if you're a person of substance and you're with somebody and they can't see you, then the question becomes, why the fuck are you with them?
Hmm.
Because that's your problem. It's not theirs.
Okay. I get that. I think when I, when I'm asking a question like this, my whole reason for asking these kind of questions is to get people to think about their interactions with each other.
Hmm.
You know, think about what message you're sending to that person when you're in front of them, and make sure that you understand that some people know what message you're sending them. If you act like you're not interested, that person knows you're not you that, that you're sending that message, and vice versa. Hi, Oshan. I see Spirit Lifters there. How you guys? The link is um in the chat if you want to join in the conversation. Spirit Lifters, Mariella says, sometimes out of desperation, we stay in situations where we are not seen.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
And
problem.
yeah, desperation will make you do a lot of things that you would never do ever. But again, trying to be seen. People are trying to be human. They want, and when I say trying to be seen, this is what I mean. You want that person to acknowledge your presence, acknowledge your pain, acknowledge your heart, acknowledge that you're going through some, you want that acknowledgement from the person you're in front of. Don't act like just here and I'm just here just to listen to what you have to give. I have something to offer too. Sometimes people don't notice the other person talking or the other person that's in the other room because, again, when you say that some people are not interesting, I get you on that. I feel you on that. But what about the people that are really trying to be, in the conversation or trying to that I guess what was the topic we had the other night? Um, where a person is trying to, they're being called thirsty because they
Yeah,
want the attention,
yeah.
you know,
Andrea is
and
such a beautiful person. Don't ever change. Don't ever
she
change,
said,
Andrea. You're a beautiful person. She says, I don't agree that there are people who are not worthy of being seen. I
right,
disagree. There are people that's not worth being seen. There are people that's not worth being heard. We listen. I know everybody wants to think that everybody's the same and we all have value. I get it, but in my life, I ain't like I don't. There are locks on my doors.
mm-hmm,
I don't have my door wide open so anybody in the hallways can come strolling into my apartment.
right,
I control my space and I control who I want to be in my space, and not everybody is worthy of being in it. Period.
right,
Now, are they worthy as human beings? Sure. Outside, what goes on outside of my apartment? I have nothing to do with that.
right,
But in my space, I have to pick and choose who I want to be seen or heard in my space.
right, right,
So
and
that's what
that's
I'm
why I said,
saying.
yeah, and that's why that and I totally get that. I'm saying in general, not just in relationships, not just in friendships, just in our interactions with each other. Do you notice the person in front of you? Do you really understand there is a person that's flesh and blood? They are trying to get you to understand something about them. They are trying to maybe even be your friend. They are trying their best to get you to acknowledge them as human, as you know,
Well, wait, who are
flesh
we
and blood,
asking this
as body and
question to?
soul.
Who are we asking this question to? Because I know when it comes to me and when it comes to you, when it comes to Mariella, I can't imagine us being around somebody that's trying to get to know us or trying to
Mhm.
show us who they are and we ignore it. Or even
Right.
Andrea. Like, I don't think we're that type of people.
No.
So who are we asking this question to?
Well, this is just more of a general, like I said, it's just a general question of maybe, people don't understand that they're doing it, that you're not really paying attention. So I
Oh,
want to put that message out there is that pay
okay.
attention to the people around you.
You're a
If
beautiful person
someone
too,
wants
by
to
the
be,
way. See, I'm gonna
Mariella,
come
can
off
you
like
help
the
me out
bad
here?
guy. I really am. I'm
Hugh,
gonna be the bad guy in here.
is Hugh? Can Hugh help me out here, Mariella? What you guys?
No, you're beautiful. Don't change. I want
I'm
you and Andrea to stay the same. Don't ever
I'm
change. Don't
sorry, Taj.
listen to me.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay,
Don't listen to me. I'm
Mariella.
a bad influence.
No, you're an awesome influence. You're the reason why yin and yang is together. The balance is there when you're around me. So I'm good.
Y'all are beautiful, man. Like you see the glass is half full, and I think that that's a beautiful thing. Don't listen to
Mhm.
me. Don't listen to me. I'm giving my perspective, but don't pay any attention to it. Stay the way that you guys are, because that's the way you should be.
No, I want to hear everyone's perspective because there is a million people out there that need Mark's perspective. There's a million people that need Andrea's perspective. There's a million people that need Shay Malik's perspective, and Muhammad's, Oshan. They all need everyone's perspective. So when we speak about different things, trust me, I'm taking it all in because I want to understand people. I want to understand human nature. My whole thing in doing these lives is trying to understand us, and trying to get us to another place to where we get to understand each other.
Hmm.
The link, Shay Malik, we posted the link in there. Mark just posted it again. Andrea said, Mark, she said, I can respect and agree with that. Holla.
Oh, thank you.
Hmm.
Which thing? Because I said a whole lot. I, I said a whole bunch of stuff, so I don't know which one she's agreeing with. But yeah, I don't think for me, not everybody's worth listening to, and not everybody's worthy of being seen.
Right. I get
That's
that.
just because it's just logical. You know what I'm saying? I don't have this reading rainbow like Benetton look at reality like just everybody come on in, come on aboard. No, because everybody is not on the same wavelength that we are. Some people are petty, some people are trivial, and
Right.
I'm gonna just act like this person is the same. I think it's an insult to all of y'all. I think it's an insult to Andrea. I think it's an insult to you. It's an insult to
Mhm.
Mariella. If I compare y'all to the average mouth breather, some
Okay.
airhead chick is the
Mouth
same as
breather.
y'all. No, and I have no problem calling them airhead chicks because that's what they are.
I got you. I feel you. I feel you.
I would say that I I want to be able to embrace people, and
Hmm.
I am the type of person that automatically wants to see and connect with human beings. Fundamentally, I believe that we are here to connect with one another.
Hmm.
All living things are here to connect with each other.
Right.
Um, and all the things that we do in life are actually the avenues that's offered to connect with each other. All the things you do, your hobbies, your work, all of that is an opportunity to connect.
Exactly.
However,
Hmm.
I have to, because of the way that I am, I have to protect myself now because I've spent so many years embracing people and believing people when they said that they were similar to me. I
Okay.
believe you at face value because I am exactly who I say I am.
Hmm.
And I believe in being a woman of my word.
Okay.
But unfortunately, to Holip's point, people have tunnel vision a lot of times. People operate from a place of it's all about me, it's all about what I want, it's all about what I need, and
Hmm.
F everybody else, F the importance of connectivity, F the importance of being kind, F the importance of being loving. Forget all that spiritual ish. Forget it. It's just what
Right.
I need.
Yeah.
So
It's more of that than anything.
it's more that than anything. So
Hmm.
because of that, yeah, I actually now, I'm changing. And I don't necessarily want to see. Oh, and that's another thing. The thing that I've done that's been the most harmful to myself is when I have seen ugliness in people, not wanting to accept what I see, because I want to believe so much in the goodness of human beings,
Yeah.
spiritual beings having a human experience. I want to believe so much in spiritual beings having a human experience that when I see at the first sight, the first time, or at meeting them, I see some ugliness in them, some dysfunction in them, I
Mhm.
have overlooked it to my own detriment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
When we
agree.
talk about seeing, if you want to talk about seeing things in other people, that's been my
Mhm.
experience.
Okay.
Latasha,
Yes.
can you highlight Ishmael's comment? Can you like click on it so it shows up on the screen?
Okay. Uh, I think I did. Ishmael says, be selective of who you allow in your circle. All just ain't worthy.
Click on it again because it popped up temporarily and then went away.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Not right now.
Well, why
Give
does
me
it
a
keep
minute.
going
Your
away?
phone dead? All right, give me a minute.
Okay. Did it come up that way?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
there we
should
go.
stay if you don't. Yeah, just leave it
Yeah,
like
okay,
that.
I see that now. Okay, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you learn something new every day. I was gonna say something. Oh, why do we have locks on our doors of our houses and our apartments?
To protect ourselves.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, is everybody worthy to be rolling up in your house?
No,
Nope.
absolutely not.
No,
So
of
that's
course
my
not.
point. My point is, and you know, like what you said about connecting with human beings. You know what?
Mhm.
I think I've done that because I got you, I got Latasha, I got Andrea. I have plenty of people that I connect with. So I think
Mhm.
I've done my quota of connecting with people. I ain't
Right,
connecting with everybody.
Ashe, ashe.
Period. Because everybody's not worthy. Everybody's not the same. Everybody is not as special to me as you guys are.
right.
They're just not. And I'm not going to insult you by comparing you to them because that's an insult to you. That's the way I see it.
How have you guys been able to go about allowing someone to connect to you? Is it
Oh,
easy
man.
or is it
When I,
hard? Is it
you know how I met Mariella? I used to see Mariella when I was going, because I used to work at 23rd Street and I used to walk to 42nd Street in the morning because I worked overnight. And I just seen her in the street and I just approached her. I walked up to her and said hello.
okay?
We connected instantly.
Okay.
It's not
And
hard when you ever heard that expression real recognize real?
mhm,
It is when you're dealing with real people, it's not that hard to connect with real people. It really
right.
isn't.
Okay.
The problem is when real people try to connect with phony fake people and try to make
Mhm,
them real.
okay. So do you think,
Yeah,
okay, then let me ask this question. Do you think people are more spiritually dead? Would you guys agree
I
that
think
people are
I
spiritually
think so.
dead?
I think so.
Can you define what that means to you?
When you can't, because some people are shut down to where you can't
Yeah,
connect to them. You can't bond with them. Even
and
when
it's
you,
due a lot of
even when
times.
you want to, there's a blockage there. There's something, and it's
Oh,
something that I don't know if they know they're doing it.
You
Sometimes they
think
may
it
not
has to
even
do
know
with the
they're
pain
doing
that
it.
they've endured thus far that's made them shut down in this way?
It could be,
I know
you
who you're
know.
talking about, um, Latasha. You're talking about the people that I avoid.
Hmm.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would imagine, but I don't waste my time worrying about it. It's because I have a certain amount of energy that the creator gave me,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm not wasting it on people and their problems.
Just random people that you don't even have.
Exactly.
Yeah, Because at the end of the
Exactly.
day, when you don't really know a person, you haven't built up a connection dealing with all of that. Like, it's like, it could be a big waste of time. Because you could tell a lot of times right away, if you're paying attention, or if you, like you said, just looking at the tits and the ass and the beauty of a female,
Mm-hmm.
or are you actually listening, to what they're saying, and the energy that they're giving off.
Right.
Ishmael
And
put up
then we
another
make a
comment.
choice of what we willing to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ishmael put up
Okay.
another comment that's worth noting. He said, "Vampires drain your life force. Sad but true."
Mm,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hmm.
mm,
But yeah,
I
it's
don't.
like,
I Go ahead.
yeah, it's like it's about that. Like we have to be selective with who we bring into our cipher because there are people that are toxic.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Yeah.
family members that I love. I don't hate them. I don't wish nothing bad on them, but I can't have them around me.
Yeah.
I had to block my sister, um, maybe about a month or so ago. But it might have
Mm-hmm.
been longer than that. But I had to block her, and I didn't want to do that. Like after my mom passed,
Mm-hmm.
I said, a lot of the stuff that I was holding on to, I let go, and I said, you know what, I want to at least have some type of relationship with my sister, even though we don't get along. I said, I don't want to be on this I ain't talking to you stuff.
Right.
But when you get so toxic, like, what do you expect the person to do? I'm just supposed to sit there and be a punching bag for your bullshit?
Yeah,
I'm
I can
not I'm
relate.
not gonna do it, man. I'm not doing it. And I can love you to death. I'm not gonna let you drag me through the mud.
Okay. Well, then let me ask this question. Brother Darwood is here. And I want to hear from him and Q as well. Let me ask this question: How how have
It's a lot of feedback.
you been able? I think that my speaking too loud.
No, no, no. It's feedback coming from somewhere. Somebody's probably listening to themselves.
Okay. Okay. There we go. I think that's better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how have you guys been able
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
with the people that you have connected with? I think what I'm trying to ask here is, was it did that person, well, no, wait a minute, no, wait. Have you had someone that made getting to know them difficult?
I don't want to answer this one because that's going to be a simple question answer.
That's what I was thinking. It was like pretty easy. Yeah, because there are a lot of people that make it difficult to get to know.
I definitely
Then
dealt with
why
that.
then why open the door in the first place?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Then why open the door if you don't want the person to know you?
Well, because until you open the door, you won't actually know whether or not that person was the difficult type or not.
Okay.
To you still have to open yourself to a certain degree in order to figure out exactly who that person is, and then once you find out who they are, you make a decision based on that, whether or not you want to continue that relationship or
Right.
whether it's going to be best sever ties at that point.
Right.
But and we've kind of had a discussion like this once before.
Right.
Pretty much everyone that you meet, you're always going to run into. You'll typically run into that representative first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That person that they either inspire to be, or just really that person that they think will impress upon you enough to allow them into your door.
Right.
And from there, you've got to figure out what their motives are. and whether or not, like I said before, whether or not it's something that you want to pursue or continue or not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why the question that I always ask a person is name a way name a way in which you can tell me that you're full of shit.
That's funny. Wow.
Because I can answer that question. I know how I'm full of shit. So I want to know. And if anybody tells you, well, I'm not full of shit, then you get your hat and you leave because they're full of shit.
Right.
We all have
Like,
contradictions. We all have things. We have imperfections. So if
Yeah.
you don't have the self-awareness to tell me what yours is,
Hmm.
that's a red flag for me.
And that actually that goes along with what the way I feel. Just put it out there. You know, give we're not being we're not taking each other for face value anymore to me. And I don't think we know how to, because we've been lied to, we've been cheated on, all these other things have happened to where
Hmm.
I don't think we know how to connect no more.
Trust
That
is
that,
like
that
a
blockage
bank.
is always going to be there for a lot of people.
Trust is like a bank account. You can't make no huge withdrawals if you haven't made any huge deposits.
let me ask a question from you
That's a
guys,
good one.
Okay.
if I can. Like, what do you think some of the things of today that has gotten in the way of us being able to make these type of connections with each other?
Oh, I can think of it's a list
Oh,
of things that have
that
gotten
is
in
a
the way.
deep question.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I
Great
got quite a few.
technology. Like for me, I noticed like we're in like the technology. People text versus talking all
Yeah.
the time, which meeting each other online versus just having a conversation and approaching people in
Hmm.
real time out in the real world. You
Yeah.
know, for me has been a extreme uh, change from the way things used to be.
I have an example that goes in line with what you're saying. You remember how when we used to go to concerts, like if anybody has been to a concert and how
Yeah,
we used to enjoy a concert. I
Hmm.
just recently saw like Method Man performing on stage. He was at the concert of the guy who plays him on that show, Dave East.
yeah,
And he was at his concert and he performed Method Man on stage.
Hmm.
And the crowd, everybody in the crowd was holding their phones out and pointing it at the stage.
they weren't engaging.
Right. So
Yeah,
he's performed like usually in our days, Method Man come on, everybody lose their mind. No, they pointing their cameras at the stage to capture what he's doing. Nobody's participating in the song.
so are
Yeah.
you really enjoying the show?
Right.
Yeah. Beyonce used to say that a lot in her concerts. Put the cameras down so you can enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I have to remind myself, like when I go, like my sister Zaida came from out of town
Hmm.
and we I don't do the selfie thing. So like when I'm with her, we're so busy talking and enjoying each other that I don't think to take out my camera and capture it. I have to really remind myself that, oh wow, she's not really around. Let me get a picture so it can show that we were actually together. I
Right.
have to think consciously to do that. But most people are so busy taking selfies and taking pictures that they're not enjoying the person that they're with or
yeah,
enjoying the moment.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of that going on.
Hello,
Oh,
Hello?
Sean,
I'm here. Thanks for the link.
no
Peace.
problem. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
And what can you add to this, Sister O'Shawn?
I just clicked on because I was moving, coming back into town.
Okay. Yeah, we're talking about the uh the ability to connect to someone and whether or not you feel seen in your relationships with others, not just relationships like a lover type, that too, or marriage or whatever, just in general, just in when you meet someone, do you feel that that person understood you and seen you? Because I watch people and I pay attention to everything, body language. I pay attention to everything, but that don't mean that they're doing the same thing to me.
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
That's true, and all that you say. People should study people, be it home
Hmm.
kids on up, family members, the lover, even strangers, because you'll
Hmm.
know from their body language of how they perceive you and how
Hmm.
they receive you. Um, the confusion comes in with a lot of people because they're so used to not speaking truth, meaning truth being of them because they don't know whom they are. And it's easy to manipulate.
Hmm.
It's very easy to manipulate with words because if you don't, you play, it's like a parable people play with each other and instead of speaking direct and bluntly.
Yeah, it's like a game, like a
And
puzzle
it's not a game, it's actually
made.
psychological and it's spiritual. You know how I am, Oshan. So it's very
Yeah.
spiritual. And that once you know what you know,
Yeah.
the psychological part of it,
Hmm.
to understand someone where they're coming from, and you have to ask them directly and tell them directly what you
Hmm.
mean what you say, and say what you mean.
Yeah,
No game plan.
I agree. Totally.
Even with kids, and it starts from that place
Hmm.
because that's how, even to adults, strangers, lovers, you say what you mean and you mean what you say. But here's the fact, though. The factor of it, people don't stand by what they say, and that's where the confusion comes in at the game plan.
It changes. The blueprint changes of that person all the time. Like, okay, wait a minute.
You know what I learned? Like you were saying about body language, I took sign language just for that.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Ocean. Who else is in the room? I see one, two, three, four, five.
Well, there's four people. I think someone just got off. I'm not sure who it was, but there's six people now, right now, and there's four people on the screen.
And you know what everyone is saying is true.
Hmm.
Everyone is saying is true. And people have to, once you get over 30, no more mental games. You say what you mean and
And
you
you
mean
mean
what
what you
you
say?
say.
I agree.
And if they
That's
don't
not being
understand,
done.
excuse me,
That's not being done. People
no.
don't do that. It is a. I had to tell a friend of mine, not too long ago. This is a game for you. I'm tired of playing. It's draining me to play this game with you because I'm trying to. I think I'm talking to an adult, but sometimes you don't give me adult behavior.
Oh, childlike mind, childlike way. That's what most people are still spiritually and psychologically. And yet they
Right.
think they're adults. They think they're adults because they're stuck in I call it a paradigm,
Hmm.
and they don't know the reality is of them. People live in their own reality. And when you listen to them, you're like, that's where you at in your mind?
Right.
That's where you are in your thoughts to even say that to the person.
Right.
Oh,
And
Can
it's disheartening to see where
mm,
people are willing to just continue to stay. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
it's
You were
actually
you're like, why do you want to stay there? When this could be a lot easier if you just
trauma.
understand we're human.
I wish I
Trauma.
can give Latasha a hug.
You can give trauma. It's trauma. And it's actually, as they call it, the Stockholm syndrome. They're stuck in their mindset of bonding with someone or that how can I put situation of where they were at, and they think they want something better, and that's on all factors from work, school, everything.
Mhm.
Can I chime in on that for a minute?
Sure.
Yes.
All everything that we're talking about is taught behavior, but here is where I feel as though when I say we're responsible for, I'm
Mhm.
actually meaning our generation.
Yeah.
Because what we're talking about right now and some of the things that are being brought up, how, you read body language, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, these
Mhm.
are things that when we were being reared, we were taught by the old schoolers. We were taught by our uncles and aunts, and we had things like family picnics and family reunions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Family, yeah, family gatherings, birthdays, all of that.
Correct.
Mhm.
But the reason that I say a lot of this is our fault now,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
because a lot of this has not been passed down. This new generation is lost. The generation to come after that is even more lost. This generation X, as
Yes.
they do what they want to do, say what they want to say. You think you reared your child one way, but because sometimes we like to try to keep up with the Joneses.
Mhm.
The kids are wearing Jordans. Got to get your kid Jordans.
Um,
Mhm.
may I interject? Because I see different, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
generation
and,
X,
and I'm not saying I can't speak in your or anyone's particular case, but
Right.
what I'm saying just kind of like in general as a
Yeah.
norm, uh,
Mhm.
that's where society is.
Yeah.
mm, yeah,
And,
you know
That's
why?
scary.
You know
That's
and
why?
scary to me, and it's
I
disheart.
mean,
Like I said, it's
but
it's
but
hard to
think,
watch.
right, but think about it too. I mean, realize I'm realizing back. I want to say it was 1989. No, it was before that. Maybe it was 1986. When cell phones first came out.
Mhm.
It's before then. Yeah, it really is
Yeah,
before then.
yeah, may have been a little bit before that.
Uh huh.
Uh, but I was working in a position where I was able to get one. I remember the phone bills used to be $400 or $500 a month, ridiculous. But it was something that I could afford to do, so decided to do it, so I did it.
Right.
Um, but that was during that time I was mid 20s, close to 30.
Mhm.
Uh, and of course, I didn't raise my kids this way, but my daughter having two or three kids, a little while later, I find out my grandson has a cell phone. Hold on. The boy's 6 years old. Why does he need a cell phone? You
Yeah,
know?
mine was 5 when she got her first cell phone. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
because cell phones
wait,
today,
wait. I have to say something due to the fact, uh, my daughter started school at 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and she's 15. My youngest, I have two. She's
Mm-hmm.
15 years old, and I'm gonna say something. And they have two different mothers because
Okay.
they're born in two different decades. They're decades apart.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter, and it's all about the responsibility and the knowledge of the parent when they and the reasoning why we're going to stay on cell phones. I see, but right now, and I know I think I know where you're going because of having a cell phone gives a person so much information. Whatever they want to see to perceive is out there, so
Yeah.
it's easily accessible.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And we had discipline when we were growing. I'm 51, so I don't know how old. Besides my sister, I don't know how old you gentlemen are. But my daughter was 3 years old on the bus with a cell phone,
hmm,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and it was only allowed. She knew danger, stranger, to hit a button to call right then and there. and she only had 4 people programmed in this phone. And the thing happens when we don't know how to micromanage not the child or not the person, but us. And we don't set up us boundaries for other people. That's all. Because I'm getting back on the subject, is that when you are with someone, your children, you have to, this generation who being is being raised by that technology of the cell phone. Let's see, the technology of the cell phone, because everyone has one now. And
Right.
then you have to, you have to be disciplined and your mental to know why you want the child to have a cell phone or to communicate or anything like that, what information they receive. And that's just like with us. You go on your cell phone, you know what you're looking for. Can you just imagine then and there when a child had a cell phone and they realized they got YouTube, they got the internet, and they can just search, type in stuff like
Exactly.
sex porn. They can just type in anything and it was boom there.
Yeah, you don't have to really teach your kid anything anymore. You
Anything.
can just
Yeah,
give them a
because
phone and let them go on.
the phone isn't just a phone; it's
I
a
had
computer.
this is true story. I knew I, a 8-year-old and 11-year-old, and they were brothers and sisters. The brother, 11 years old, found out about YouTube to put in the sex or whatever he wants. A woman doing sex with a dog. Let's just use
Oh
that
my
one.
god,
Yes.
Hmm.
He looked that up, showed his sister, and they was,
ridiculous.
yeah, they went to a dog.
Well, and the thing with that too is
Doesn't that say something about our society though?
You
Yeah,
know
That
what?
that's
yeah,
entertainment.
we're all
Wait.
fucked
You
up.
know what? It says so much about our society. It ain't even, it says so much about what they have allowed the government and what they have allowed us to receive. Somebody said, it said, one of you gentlemen said, it's our fault.
yeah, I
It
agree.
is.
It
It's
is.
our generation.
That,
I agree with you. Our generation has single-handedly did a lot of damage.
You know why? Because
Yeah,
they don't read, they don't research, and they don't know
it's our
whom they
fault.
are. They
Um,
do not know.
what do
Uh,
we as consumers allow
you
and
said
support?
consumer.
What'd you say, Che?
As consumers in this country, in this world we live in, what do we allow and support? A lot of this is our fault because we don't utilize our voices and our power as a collective at all.
Oh my
It's a
goodness.
lot of
When I see
it's a
you
lot of
preaching,
separation. And like
Mhm.
let's look at other countries. You know,
mm-mm, I,
right here in America, we eat red 40 as if it's candy. We allow our children to eat red 40. They don't even allow this in other countries. They don't
I,
allow
oh my
GMOs
goodness.
in other countries. And we eat this, we eat it, we shovel the shit in our mouths nonstop. We're eating garbage. We feeding our kids garbage. The
And this is
entertainment
how,
is
this is,
is death. Our entertainment is death, and we love it.
yeah, but
Our
no.
entertainment is
Wait,
all freaky and we
what
like it.
I love this conversation right now. You know why? Because all what you're saying is true due to the fact of everything that's out here is because it's control, manipulation, smoking, smoke and mirrors, it's deflection, it's projection of what they want us to receive. And that's the point. I'm getting back to the subject. That's the point. They project what they want us to receive, and then the adults take it and say, okay, this is what they want to receive. Pink hair, eyelashes, and everything else. I'm all natural.
Hmm.
Right.
I'm all natural. I'm all natural to the point of, and I want to give accolades to my daughter, my 15-year-old, because everybody was suffering during this virtual school. My daughter went through a suicide attempt. She ran away. She ate some edibles, and she's 15.
Whoa.
Okay,
Hmm.
and she hadn't had sex or anything like that or anything. You know why? Because I start slacking. and I had to. She started making her own executive decision up under my household,
Yep.
so
Okay.
I had to take that back.
Mhm.
You
And
understand? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and that is a direction that I was starting to go into also. I
Mhm.
mean, we have to be, uh,
Vigilant.
yes, but not just have the intellect, but you have to have the strength to,
Uh-huh.
to say, okay, this falls on me. This happened on my watch.
Yeah.
This is what I should not have allowed my child to do, or what I
Mhm.
should not have ever allowed my child to say. Or,
Right.
we have to teach them what we want them to know.
We
Mhm.
Society is
we
not
have to
going
teach
to teach us what
ourselves what
we need
we
to
want them to know. We have to teach ourselves. We got
exactly.
to. Yeah, yeah.
Society is not going to give us what we need. We have to
No.
figure it out on our own.
We are
No.
not free. Black
Society is
people.
a smorgasbord of filth and
You know what
Right.
we're talking about? When you
And
realize
there's
we
so
are
many
not
people
free, we are
tuning
not
in
it's
and
a
free.
buying.
buffet of buffoonery.
Right.
Yeah.
We tune in and buy at a high rate. I'm not saying we particularly, I'm saying in general that if we were not uh indulgent in these things, right, it wouldn't sell. And so it would be a waste of time, it would be a loss.
Yeah.
The powers that be are able to do what they're doing because it sells.
Well, I agree with
It's
that
selling to
100%.
somebody, yeah. And
I
it's
agree with that 100%. But the problem is, like you say, we buy into it.
Yeah.
But what we're also failing to realize is we've been programmed from the
There you go.
beginning.
Yeah.
It's
We,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
all
was,
been
Yeah.
programmed. You
No
well,
know,
doubt.
they basically steer us in the direction. They fed us what they wanted us to eat. They teach us what they want us to learn, and they sideline the stuff that they want to deal with.
Hmm.
Right.
no,
Yeah.
and
And
they
uh and
go ahead.
also, speaking about that red 40, you know, putting what we put into our bodies is everything,
Right.
because it dictates whether we have addictions, or it dictates how well our mind functions. We are given fruits to cleanse our bodies and greens to heal our bodies,
Indeed.
but yet we are ingesting carbs and sugars, and a lot of us are walking around as addicts, whether we want to accept it or not, because
Yeah.
sugar is the number one addiction in this
Mhm.
society. When I go into
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods, when I go
Wait,
into
wait, it's
certain
not sugar.
neighborhoods,
It's processed sugar. Understand the difference.
okay,
Under, understand the difference because there's natural sugar in fruits and vegetables, but there's a process. They made the process of sugar with the
Yeah.
additives.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So my point
So get the
being,
difference.
my point is that we are not, like you were saying, it's by design. But once we know better, then we have to dig deep within ourselves to
Exactly.
first get ourselves away individually, as the mama is saying, work on ourselves first, and
Mhm.
get ourselves away from that addiction, because that addiction dictates so much of our lives. It makes us not able to function at a high capacity in terms of even how we parent, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. So
And
that's why
you
when
know
you
what?
go into neighborhoods, quote unquote low income neighborhoods. When I went into a grocery store named Aldi's.
All
Aldi's
these.
in
Mhm.
here in the DMV area. I'm not sure where it is in everywhere, but I know in this particular one, it's a low income area.
Yeah.
And all I could see was rows and rows of processed food. It wasn't even food. It's not even food.
And
Right.
this is, excuse me, Queen. This is at an Aldi.
Yep.
Let me. I need you to go back to that Aldi because our Aldi's here, and my sister Queen can explain. We have more natural. They give you more fruit, more vegetables, and because where I shop at, I don't. You can go to in an inner city grocery store, and the food they have there is different from the food they in the same grocery store, brand name, is different from like what we have in the inner city, and
Lord.
it's so crazy. Make a complaint. Get everybody in your community. Start like seriously, because I looked at this and I said, okay, if I go out to Brookfield to Aldi's and they got rows of fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and meat that's so clean. For real, I don't eat. I only eat fish. I do, but all the meat out there compared to the meat in the inner city, compared at the same store you're speaking of, Aldi's is packaged differently in outer city. And if you research out Aldi's,
It's
you'll
all,
see it came from Germany and how Germany sees itself as
yeah.
cadaver.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
See, but and what she's saying is absolutely right as far as knowledge being power.
Yep.
And that's a key thing. Like, and that's what I was saying from the beginning. We need to know,
Mm-hmm.
understand, because the more we know and understand, the easier it is to pass down and to make sure our children and our children's children understand as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
what America has been doing from the beginning has been separating the black families
Oh my goodness.
and and feeding us garbage,
First of
destroying
all, I
because
gotta.
because believe it or not, what a Caucasian person eats and consumes that like they start coming out with this food that has GMO in it and things of that nature, that can actually
Mm.
work for them,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't. It's a reverse in our body.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what happened?
Yeah, we don't eat the same foods and have the same results as they do.
Like
Right.
Every
dairy is an example of that.
Yeah,
Dairy
there
is
is
not
no
for us
for
Africans, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Europeans can thrive on dairy, but for us Africans dairy is not for us. That is no excuse it, but that's mucus. That is
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Only
we're
that.
ingesting
I
is
just want to
literally
bug you right
mucus.
now, Sister Queen. What's your name? Because when I tell you that point right there,
It's
white,
very potent. It's a very
no,
potent point.
Can I
What I
ask a
well,
don't
question?
understand is the whole thing
man,
with
listen.
dairy
The only
and
point is
not
this.
all dairy, but milk in general. What animal drinks milk past a child like infancy and then from a different species?
Uh, you want I tell you?
You know,
See,
a grown lion does not drink milk, and it doesn't drink it from the tit of a ape or a different
uh,
species.
Or a
I,
cow.
first of all, can you only imagine how they found out that a cow got milk?
Hmm.
First of all, can you imagine how they found out how a cow can produce milk?
I'm sure it had something to do with us.
Sexual? No, it's sexual.
Sexual.
It's
It.
sexual.
Oh my
It's
God.
Can I
sexual.
ask the question?
Yes. Please.
If you don't want to smoke crack, does it make sense to live in a crack house?
Yep, it does. I've been asked this question a
What?
whole lot.
What?
Actually, I could agree with her on that
It
too.
makes it makes sense to live in one.
Yeah,
Yes.
and here's
Please,
why I agree.
please explain that to me. How it
Well,
makes sense to live in a crack house if you're trying to kick doing crack.
I'll
Because
explain to
you
you
will
better.
see the demon that was
I'll
with you. You will see. First of all, let me explain what I do. I'm a I'm a spiritual. I work with people. I work on a suicide line, domestic line, and this is my own business. When I say this, it makes so much sense to go into a crack house when you're trying to get rid of yourself of anything so you can see yourself and others. It will
And,
scare
and
them straight. I've
and
done it.
and here's where I am with it. I won't use the crack addiction for an example, but I
That's
will use
any addiction.
my my uh, my entire family, for the most part, were alcoholics. My grandfather was a violent alcoholic.
A
My
functional.
grandmother didn't drink, but my grandfather, my uncles, my aunt, everybody, crazy alcoholics, always fighting, shooting, et cetera, et cetera. Well, growing up as a little boy, and I admit I was a mama's boy, and my grandmother was the person who raised me.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see how she could control my grandfather. But I was so afraid of him, just like most of the neighborhood. But I hated the way he treated people. I hated the way the people feared him because of the way he got when he was full of that oil. I,
Okay.
I, I mean, he was my grandfather, but I hated.
Mm-hmm.
So from seeing this and watching all my family dysfunctions, I chose to never drink. I'm 56 years old. I've never drank. I've never smoked. I've never done a drug in my life.
Did that work for the majority of the other your siblings and cousins and stuff
No,
like that?
no,
I
it
have,
didn't.
I can't really speak for my other cousins, but I
You
have
know,
several other siblings. And
did they?
I'm sorry,
Did they have drugs, alcohol?
it's pretty much, well, not quite split, but five of them did experience the alcohol. Three of us, well, two of us never drank. One did drink, and then he became a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
But I was the oldest, well, I'm still the oldest, and I never drank, never smoked, never done anything.
I think where Hollip was going with that question was in a different direction.
I'm sure.
Hollip,
I still wanted to hit on the fact that being in a crack house is bad. What?
Hollip.
Yeah, I could
Hello?
understand where he was probably going,
Hello?
Yeah,
probably
Mark.
the temptation.
I thought it was self-explanatory. How are you going to recover in a place where you got everybody around you taking crack, and that's going to help you kick it?
Yeah.
No.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
And you're already an addict trying to kick the habit around that. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if even if we accept the fact that you want to put somebody in an environment to scare them straight, don't you have to eventually take them out of the environment?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now,
Are they gonna recover inside of the crack house? And the reason why I make that point is that we're living here in America, surrounded by living under the socioeconomic and political context of white people, and yet we trying to be African. It
Wow.
doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
That's deep.
actually, I wouldn't even say we're trying to be African because most people realize, and there's a lot of Africans that don't appreciate Black Americans. I don't even know what to call us now because we're not Africans.
Right. That's a whole nother.
From Africa, but we really have no ties to Africa that we can even relate to.
Right.
You know,
No, that's not
our
right, actually.
ancestors were brought from there and brought here. And we've gone through so many identities. You know, we've been African American, we've been Afro Americans, we've been Black, we've been Negroes, we've been everything that they wanted us to be.
Right.
I don't think that if once we have melanin, I mean I hear what you're saying, brother, but if we look at a lot of our practices, whether your people are from the South, whether your people are from the Caribbean, whether your people are Black Hispanics, there's a lot of practices that we have. There's a lot of sayings that we carry. There's behaviors in our DNA that is totally a direction directly connected to our connection as Africans. Um, the way we respond to music, the way we
Mhm.
respond to drums, that is totally connected to
Africa.
our connection, our ancestral DNA, and our connection to the motherland.
Mhm.
So I hear what you're saying in terms of what we've been called, but we will never be able. We cannot. I say we're Africans living in America. But I hear you. I hear you that um there's so much that we've been indoctrinated with, and there's so much, and to Holip's point, you know we are trying to we have been domesticated, so it's nature versus nurture, because the nature of who we are is African, but the nurture and the domestication is European, and it's outside of and we have and there's this constant battle, whether we're cognizant of it or not. There's this constant battle that we have with, spiritually and otherwise, so to Holip's point, yeah, how do we function and hold on to what's in our nature when we're living and we're being nurtured by something that is polar opposite to who we are as human beings.
I just want to make
Very
2 points
harsh.
before anybody.
Wonderfully said, sis.
I
Brother
just want to
Umoja.
make
Thank you.
two points if I can.
Okay.
The problem is that I think that the presupposition is that a black person born in the continent, is a real African, and everybody that's outside the continent is not really African. And I think that's the fundamental mistake,
Yeah.
because the definition of African culture is when something works in the interest of African people. Has nothing to do. You can be born on the continent and be the biggest bootlicking Negro that ever existed. There's people that's the bigger niggers than people here in America, and they never set one foot on American soil. So you being an African born in the continent doesn't make you any special than an African born in America, or an African born in London, or an African born anywhere else on this planet. So that's the fundamental flaw in thinking that this whole concept of an authentic African is that African is born on the continent is BS. Another
Right.
thing, um, we have to understand that if you want to have if you want to control the behavior of people, because basically that's what it all gets down to. We want to control the behavior of our people because our people are behaving dysfunctionally.
Yeah.
The way that you control the behavior of the people is you have to control the context the people exist in. If you don't control the context, then you have no say in how our people act. The person that has a say in how they act is the system that they live in. The socioeconomic and political system that we exist in is what controls our behavior. So if we want to change the way that we act, we have to get power. We got to
Hmm.
get socioeconomic and political power. We have
Yeah.
to control a piece of territory. And I'm not talking about this vague, abstract concept of blackness, because that's just vague. It doesn't mean anything.
Hmm.
It's not tangible, it's not concrete. There's no black land, there's no black language,
Hmm.
but there's an African land, there's an African languages, there's tangible, concrete things that were ripped from us.
Right. I think
So,
everything to me is all so everything we're all so watered down that how can you know what African is African now? Most Africans love American culture. They love it's just,
well, like I said, the best definition I've heard, that's the
I
best
don't.
definition I heard was from Amos Wilson. And he said, what makes something African culture, and when it works in the interest of African people. And if we're
Right.
not working in our own interests, then we ain't African.
Right.
Being African is not putting on a dashiki. Being African is not talking black.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not working in the interest of our people, then we're not being African people.
Right.
Bottom line.
See, now, and I could appreciate that, but I've got a question for you as far as that goes. Because I've realized in dealing with some African people, and you probably have experienced the same thing, but Africans tend to look down on American or African American people, I guess I'll say.
I'll be honest with you, brother. That hasn't been my experience. And I went to Rwanda, and I was around Rwandan people for
Mm-hmm.
about 2 weeks, walking through the streets of Rwanda at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning with no security.
I've heard that same thing.
And the Rwandan people, I didn't get one ice grill, one bad stare. I didn't get. We were treated with love to the point where when I left Rwanda, I feel homesick.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
That's how you know
It's
you're at home,
propaganda.
man.
It's
That's how you know
propaganda.
you're at home when you feel
Now,
homesick.
are there ignorant Africans? Yeah, they're usually in America.
That's
And you got to ask yourself. You got to ask yourself a question. If you're so anti-American, what the hell are you doing in America? If you're an African, don't you
Why
have
are
a
you
country?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
See,
these are the dysfunctional bootlicking Negroes. That are cowards and don't want to take care of their own country. So they come here and they want to stand on and pretend like they're better Africans or more African than we are. The people that's on the continent are begging for us to get over there.
I know.
Wow.
But like I said, I know at least 3 or 4 people that have visited there, and I know one person that visits there often.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard so many times the reason they constantly go back is because they love it there.
Exactly.
The people are warm, they're welcoming, they're helpful, that they love to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But when they come here, it's totally different because, like I said, they look down on us like.
Well, you got to consider the source because, like I said, who's coming here? First of all, what Rwandan in a right mind would want to leave Rwanda and come to America? You got to think about that. Rwanda is doing things. Rwanda is building up their economy. They're building up their infrastructure. It's a thriving African nation right now. That's probably, in my opinion, the top African nation. I know it's not the largest.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Nigeria. And Nigeria's economy is going to probably be $1 trillion at some point. The first $1 trillion economy in Africa. But in terms of being a progressive nation, Rwanda is like, I mean, and they did it in like 20 years, right after the
Wow.
the nonsense that happened with the Hutus and the Tutsi nonsense. It took them 20 years to get back on track. How long we've been working on trying to do something here in America? What is it going on? 500 years?
Ever.
They managed to do it in 20. Do you think that might have something to do with the fact that they had their own land?
Yes.
They weren't trying to build amongst white people.
Right.
So a lot of this is propaganda. And like I said, I would love to meet these Africans that got a problem with African American. I personally have not come across them. I know that they exist.
Yeah,
But
I
I guarantee you that they're in America. Guarantee you they're in America.
Yeah, they're in America because I've never.
Yep.
Yeah, they're here.
Yep.
And a lot of them actually, to be honest, were from Nigeria. Nigerians just do not
So
like
why the
African Americans.
fuck are you over here in America and not in Nigeria?
Right.
Wow.
Well, peace, everybody.
That's what we dealing with. We dealing with cowards.
Yeah. Well, I know personally. Peace, everybody. This Umoja speaking.
Peace.
I know personally. I've come across several different Africans from several different African countries, and I mean seeing them on like weekly basis, sometimes several times a week, and not one of them didn't encourage me to come home. I mean, not one of them. All of the stories that I've heard about about Africans saying that they don't like Americans or something. What I've gathered from it all is that they don't like niggas. Because in Africa, what they really get introduced to is nigga culture. And some of them look at that like these people have no culture. These people sitting over there always complaining, always doing this. And my question to everybody here is, why would they appreciate that? Why would you appreciate and respect people who all if what you know about it, if you don't know the struggle, you just know that damn man, it look like gang culture is crazy. They are killing each other, they selling drugs to each other, and then the other ones with money seem to waste it all on putting diamonds in their mouth and putting diamonds in their foreheads and crazy stuff like that. Like that's not respectable. That's not
Right.
respectable. And we have to remember that the propaganda that we get about Africa is the same propaganda that Africans get about black Africans in America.
Exactly.
It's
Wow.
no different. Just like if we all honest here, growing up,
So we're
we
being
didn't know nothing
judgmental.
about the Nile and Kemet and how beautiful Africa was. We all thought that Africa was full of kids with big ass bellies with flies flying around them.
Right.
Right.
That's what we thought of Africa, if we being honest. And when Boys in the Hood was out, African booty scratcher was a highly used phrase.
In
So
Mississippi,
so
yes.
so we just have to really understand where we coming from as Africans as a whole. We all coming from this place where black is bad. Simple as that.
And I
Right.
just
Black
want to say
equals
this.
bad.
I just want to say this. 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. I don't give a fuck how many people say it's 5. I don't accept or acknowledge ignorance. I only acknowledge what's the truth. And the truth is we're African people. And like I go by what Malcolm said. Malcolm said just because a cat had kittens in an oven, that don't make the kittens biscuits.
Wow.
Why the kittens got to be in a oven for that to be
Right.
a point?
That's what Malcolm said. I'm using his words. It don't make the kittens biscuits. They still kittens.
I understand it. I
We're
have a kid,
still
so I'm a
Africans
little
because
sensitive right
that's the
now.
thing. That's the problem that I have with the ADOS shit. You calling yourself Black American? Where the fuck did you come from? How did you get here? And so what they did was this is the slick trick that they did. Oh well, we was always here. Oh really? So you was always here, but you forgot your native language in the country that you was always here at?
Yeah.
How the
Wow.
fuck did you forget how to speak your native tongue in the same country that you got enslaved in?
See, but
That
we
doesn't
also
make
Reading
any
have
is
sense.
we
Now, I can
also
understand you losing your African language because you're not in Africa no more. How did you lose your Native American language?
Right.
How?
Hmm.
Because you're full of shit. That's how.
yeah, but we also have to realize too, a lot of us are I think the person that bothered me the most with this though is probably Tiger Woods, as much as I like golfing. But the simple fact that he couldn't acknowledge himself as being um just black, period. You know, he could acknowledge his Asian heritage, but not his black.
Yeah, it's sad
But
more than anything else.
yeah, it
It's
is.
psychological.
But
Yeah,
but
I'm not mad at Tiger because he's ignorant and he's a product of the environment. He does, you know
Environment.
what I mean?
yeah,
Right.
His
It's
environment
not even
dictated how he
malicious.
was going to be.
Yeah, it's not even malicious on his intent. He's ignorant and a product of the environment.
Right.
but
Which we
that's
all are.
what that's something that I think also makes it difficult for everyone or for a lot of blacks
Mhm.
because in a lot of cases a lot of us don't know exactly what we're made of. We're not
Right.
100%, most of us aren't 100% African American, or Africans I should say, even though we were born here in America, because your grandmother was Asian or grandfather was
The
Indian or
mixture of the races.
But
right.
remember this, brother. Remember what I said about this 100% African stuff. Jesse Lee Peterson is probably 100% African
Okay.
genetically.
Okay.
Is that?
Is that our role model? Do y'all know who Jesse Lee Peterson is?
I have no clue. No, I don't.
Look, if you look up coon in the dictionary,
Wow.
you'll probably see a picture of him, and he's 100% African. I doubt if he has any mixed blood in him.
Let me
Hmm.
speak to this
Well,
real quick about that. Real quick about that though, real quick. I'm not gonna take long, I promise.
No, go ahead.
So when it comes to beef, because of our because our people was literally bred like animals here, we
Yeah.
are mixed with so many different Africans. If you took any DNA test, you will see that. You know what's
Mhm.
beautiful about that? That just means that all of Africa is ours. That we got all of the goodness of Africa, because Africa is not just one country, right? That's how
right,
I look at it. I look at it like literally all of Africa is mine. I'm from all these places. How about that?
right.
How about that?
My
Hey,
point, but
that's
my
dope.
point
And
Good
the
was
point.
thing about it, let's remember now,
Good point.
Africans don't consider themselves Africans. Nigerians are Nigerians.
Exactly.
Somalians
Right.
are Somalians. This is an
Africa.
American European thought process that we're communicating, really.
No, it's not. It's not a European thing because the word Africa didn't come from the European. That's a misnomer. They always say that, but it's a
Well,
political term. What it is that Africa describes the continent,
right,
but like you said, it's true. People identify with the country that they're from. They identify with their nationality, and that's one of the things that John Henry Clark always said is that we don't have a nationality to identify with. So what do? We identify with the continent.
yeah.
So it's more of a political term than anything else. Because like he said, Africa is not a country, it's a continent.
Okay, I get that.
Mhm. But the big myth is that Africa came from some European general. That is such BS. And I can prove that that's BS because Leo Africanus, they said that Africa was named after Leo Africanus, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So what was his father's name?
What was his what?
What was his father's name?
Right.
His
He just
father's
made it
name
up,
wasn't
huh?
Africanus.
Yeah,
So
I never even heard.
where
I've
did he
heard
get
of
Africanus from?
Africanus, but I haven't heard of who his father was or anything like that.
His father's name was Scipio.
Yeah.
What happened was they would name
Cool. And
themselves
is this
after.
person even a real figure in history or not?
Yeah, it's a real figure. But the thing is, what they would do is that they would name themselves after the area that they conquered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
if he
That
called
makes
himself
sense.
Africanus, that means that Africa was in existence before
there.
he was even on the scene.
Hmm.
You
So they
know
was
what?
trying to play a slick,
Do you know
slick
what?
bait and
Do you
switch
know?
here,
Do
huh?
you know what I gather
Okay.
though? When I sit and think about
Wow.
the fact that we just a mixed breed of Africans in African countries, when I think that we don't know what specific tribe we come from, and the fact that we come from a plethora of tribes, that just makes the case for us to have our own nation state as diasporans in Africa even stronger,
Right.
even
And
stronger.
the good news is we already got it, Umoja.
How
Mhm.
about that? How about that?
Right.
And to make that into our image
Right.
Mhm.
as the diaspora,
Yep.
knowing what a corrupt government is, not having that corrupt government, knowing knowing how some Africans don't like other Africans and everything else, make it a case for it not to be like that. And that's the brilliance about us as being so multicultural as Africans in the diaspora, is that we have all this knowledge and all these skills and we understand what's been going on around us. The only thing that's missing is us actually coming together and agreeing that this is something that we need to do. It's about time. Or we could just stay here rolling
That's,
around like chickens with our heads cut off
Mhm.
in perpetuity.
Right.
yeah, that's an ongoing problem. Though, trying to get us to come together.
And I think that, even going back to the topic just a little bit, that's the reason why, it concerns me, where we're going. Because I feel, and I'm trying not to be all the way that way or feel that way. I feel like we're lost. I don't feel like this is going to get better. And that's disheartening for me. It's very, depressing,
That's why I said I
especially
want
for
to
my
give you a hug.
kids. I know I just don't, I think people are still operating in that low frequency.
Yeah.
And you can't,
Absolutely.
it's hard for me to deal with somebody who's still operating in that low frequency. It's hard. And it burns my skin. It makes me feel contained. It makes me feel like I got
Can I let you in on a little secret?
sure.
Don't. You heard me?
You say that again.
I said don't. D O
Don't do
N
what?
T apostrophe T. Don't.
Don't do what? Don't do what?
You said you're tired of dealing with these type of people.
No, 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 no. That's not what I meant. If I said that, that's not what I meant. I see it. I choose who I deal with and who I don't deal with, of course. But just looking forward, I'm always a forward thinker. I see things before it happens. 10 years ago, I saw the divide between man and woman. I saw that coming 10 years ago. I saw, a lot of things happening because of how the world was changing.
Hmm.
And now looking at the world now, 10 years from now, I see where we're going and it's not pretty. And it's very concerning. If we're not willing to really, I don't,
I
it's
think
I
just
we've had
think
this
concerning to me.
conversation before,
Hmm.
and I told you this before, so it's going to sound redundant. When you say we, who are you talking about?
When I say we, as
We.
in,
Because like I hear people say, well, we need to do this and we need to do that. What we are you talking about? Because everybody is not even thinking about what we're talking about.
right. But also, okay, in general, we're all talking right now on this platform, right?
Hmm.
There's some people that are going, because again, a lot of these conversations that I have or these questions that I have is for people to make you think about what it is you're doing in your everyday life. Not that it's just a personal thing for me personally with my friends, the people that I know. I know all of you guys very well that are here now. That's not, I'm not talking about this dynamic. I'm talking about forward, looking forward, all of us looking forward, not just me, not in our, personal lives or our interactions with each other, just looking forward, that there's, it's some strange things going to be happening. And I don't think we're ready for it.
Strange
I
things
think
are already happening.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think that I agree with you, sis, and I have definitely shared and share in your feelings and your sentiments. And the only thing that what I come back to is that as an African, I refuse to let two things. As an African, I refuse to not embrace the power of my ancestors, and of the ancestral DNA that I carry. So
Right.
it took a lot of intuition, it took a lot of heart, it took a lot of spirit, it took a lot of power to survive the slave trade,
Yeah.
and to be released from slavery with nothing. And
Hmm.
yet here you are. It
Hmm.
took a great deal of magic for that to happen.
Yeah.
And so for me, I cannot allow what I see outside of me to
Hmm.
affect what goes on inside of me. Because I believe that I and you and Emoja and Holop and all these brothers and sisters that come together from the BAIO, I believe that we all have a calling greater than ourselves. And
Yeah.
that is what our ancestors did. They had a calling greater than themselves.
Hmm.
So I can't I have felt, definitely I feel your pain, and in terms of this topic, I
Yeah.
feel the pain of not connecting with my brothers and sisters when I look at them, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But I
It's
have to
hard.
move. I have, not only am I moving in the direct, have I moved in the direction of closing that loop and connecting to only people that really understand me and reflect my same energy.
Right.
But I believe that the change happens within me first. So in
Okay.
terms of what we're talking about, in terms of our diet, in terms of what we feed our minds, our bodies, and our souls on a
Mhm.
daily basis, despite the fact that we give so much of our time to these businesses, we got to carve out the time to make that change within ourselves. And then we got to make sure that within our home life or our immediate circles, we're exemplifying that behavior. And then because we're leading by example, but then also we have to make sure that we're educating,
Mhm.
and then we got to follow our intuition, because intuition is a very African thing. So we got to follow our intuition and allow ourselves to be guided
Yeah.
by that higher spirit, whatever that higher spirit was that guided our ancestors, that got them through the most horrific experience a human being could experience, to the point that you and I are here today, if that
Right.
makes any sense.
Lots.
Let
Thank
the
you.
church say amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I like this sister, man. She got a voice. I
Yeah.
dig it
Oh, thank you.
for real.
Thank
Let
you.
the church say amen.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
and
think
with,
you
with
guys.
that, with
Go
that,
ahead.
before you close, before
No,
you
go ahead.
close, I think that a lot of our people, even the ones who really ain't with it, do hold that sentimentality that look where we came from and look where we came from. The
Mm-hmm.
thing to be careful about though is this thing called time.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, in this point in time, America is crumbling. And black folks are literally at the bottom of the totem pole in America at this point. Very, very close. You still got islanders, they just so low in number, and then the actual Native Americans are so low in number. But black folks are the barren birds here in America. So if America crumbles, what then goes for the diaspora that's in America, right? And I just
Mm-hmm.
think that we have this lack of time perspective. Like yes, we are the owners of the universe. Yes, our melanin is popping and powerful. All of these things, but when are we going to use that to our advantage instead of just talking about it? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yep.
We are real good at manifesting our partners, manifesting a wife, manifest me a job. How about we manifest our actual liberation?
Ashe.
You know,
Well,
and when we talk about unity, and when we talk about unity, we can all agree simultaneously, man. That's just our number one problem. We can't figure that out. Motherfucker, why? like it's not that difficult, particularly in the age that we in with social media and everything else. We refuse to organize ourselves. It's
Mm-hmm.
literally dozens of organizations for black lawyers, black doctors, black architects, literally dozens of them. And now none of them coming together and saying, how about we build our own something? How about
Right.
we build our own hospitals in every other state? At least
Check.
in every region of the state, right? Like this is the thing. We have organizations, but we lack organization. It's
But you
insanity,
Yeah.
really.
How
got,
come
It's
all of our
insanity.
money? How come all of our money is not in one united bank? Why is Black Dollars and Chase and Citibank and
Because
Bank
we
of
don't
America?
trust each other.
Well,
no, but
then
you know
we
what though?
deserve everything that we
Actually,
get.
no, but
Chase
actually,
sounds better than Johnson and Johnson, I guess. Bank. I don't know.
if you look up Greenwood, Greenwood Bank has been trying to do that for the last year now.
It's a few banks that are trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
One United is the biggest. It's
yeah,
the biggest.
well,
It's the biggest back bank in the country. It has the most, like in terms of exposure and marketing. It's ahead of all those other banks. Sometimes you got to go with what's like the big dog.
Right.
None of our celebrities are putting their money in these banks. None of these celebrities are doing commercials for these banks. None of them.
Nothing in it for them to do it. Why would they? There's nothing in it for them.
Yeah, but also if you look at a majority of the celebrities, as soon as they reach celebrity status, um, and of course this is going to sound bad, but
which
where
means
do
it's
they
probably
turn?
true.
I mean, they don't turn back to the black community to give. Well, some do to a certain degree, but they don't turn back to the black community and do what they should do. They don't, and like you said, they don't start up these businesses that are, where it's just going to be black this, black that, and the other, or open a bank or whatever the case may be. They take everything right back where they got it from, which is from the white.
Mm.
Occasion, they take it right to
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and they invest in
Yeah, we
then
don't spend our
there.
dollars with our people enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I hear Mark talking all the time about the BAIO, the other group, the BAIO. Is that it?
Hmm.
Did I say that right? Okay.
Yep.
And he's always trying to get people to connect and to be a part of what what they were doing or what they're doing in this group. And I've seen him rally for years to try to get this together. Many other times, many other things, that concern the well-being of Black people, and it's just somehow it's just a blockage there. People don't get the importance of what he's trying to do, or people like him are trying to do.
Can I
You
can I
know.
read something to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I want to preface this before I read it to say, I am a dude that was raised in the projects in Brooklyn. I'm not a
Okay.
scholar. I didn't come from an Ivy League school. I don't consider myself any particularly intelligent than anybody else. But let me just read this to you. There's no such thing as black leadership. The
Mm.
definition of power is the ability to define our own reality and have others submit to our definition as if it were their own. There are approximately 30 days in a month. There are approximately 50 million black people in America. $30 a month times 50 million equals $1.5 billion.
Mm.
1.5 billion times 12 months equals 18 billion a year.
Mm.
This
Well,
is just savings. We're not even factoring in leveraging, investments, etc. This is just straight savings. These are the potential numbers we are looking at, and black conservatives are entertaining butter biscuits from Donald Trump and the GOP, and black woke neoliberals are pushing black window dressing identity politics. No one sees these numbers and says, hey, maybe we should create one black economic institution, merge all of these individual black banks into one so we can consolidate all these resources. You know why? Because there is no such thing as black leadership.
Leadership.
Period. Point blank. End of story. And this is coming from a guy who's some freaking dipshit in Brooklyn.
Mm.
hmm,
Actually, the funny part about that good
what he
shit,
said.
as you put it, was when you started the conversation with "there's no such thing as black leadership." I totally disagreed until you finished reading.
Thank you. Because at least you listened. At least you heard me through to the end. There's no such
Well,
Yeah.
thing. We can't
that's our
even
thing
get.
though. You see what brother said? This is something that fascinates me about our people. We will sit up and talk about how racist America is. We'll talk about how bad white people is. We'll talk about how we're mistreated, how we're under the bus and everything. And the moment we start talking about, okay, well, what can we do to improve ourselves, to improve our own situation, we shut down. We shut down because the reality is we have to look at the reality. The reality is no government is coming to save us.
No,
No politician is going to hear our petition. There
that's
is going to be no reparations that's going to really give us power.
done.
So what we need to do is do it all for ourselves. And then, but we just get so in our feelings, man. But see, didn't nobody go through what we went through, which is even more reason for us to be like, screw all y'all. This
Yeah.
about black first and black only. But we
And I
don't.
have
We
a
have the hardest
question.
time looking at our own. We have a hard time looking at ourselves in the mirror, man.
I
It's a
have a
cold
question.
reality.
I have a question, Yamoja. What I
Yes,
just
sir.
said, what I just read there, what white man is standing in the way of us doing that?
And that's
No
the
one.
point. That's the
No
point.
one.
I can't remember the last time I was on a live. I can't remember the last time I wrote an article. I can't remember the last time I was talking to somebody about black issues and pointed towards white people because they are not the problem anymore. That's
No.
my belief. That's how much I believe in our people. I don't believe that white people is holding us back at all.
No.
At all.
There's
We've been We've been
nothing
stated,
to stop us from doing that.
we've been stated and neutered to believe that we can't do it now. White people ain't got to do nothing. We do it our damn self. We get money and go put a diamond on our forehead instead of saying, how can I invest in this and invest out of here? One more thing about what you said and what you read about leadership. What you gave is a perfect platform for how we could actually do something here in America. And that's the same reason why I don't believe that it's worth doing anything here in America, because we have so many things that we could do in America and we won't do none of them. We won't do none of them. You just gave one example. I'll give you another example. It's about 30 something basketball teams, 30 something football teams with black ass NFL and NBA players making hundreds of millions of dollars, at least tens of millions a year. There ain't no reason why every major city in every state in America shouldn't have an all black school, an all black hospital, all black this and all black bank, all across America. These Negroes won't come together to even do that. And
And
that's
you
small time stuff. That's
and
small time stuff.
and I agree with that so much. That's one of the main reasons. As much as I love watching basketball, as much as I like, I don't pay to go to those events. And people ask me all the time, yeah, but you're such a good this and you do that and you always doing this. Yeah, I'll go do it, but I'm not going to go pay ridiculous amounts of money to go watch somebody do it to support them. They're not supporting us. They're not
And
supporting us. So why would I spend my hard-earned dollar for that? I'm not going to do it. The white people do it. Let them do it because they enjoy watching us. We've always been entertainment. Always.
and
I
I'm
think
telling
that.
you, this is the reason why I judge anybody that's putting themselves out there talking this black talk or whatever. If you're not talking about consolidating our resources collectively, you're
Hmm.
a clown, and I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Because if unless you're talking about power,
Right.
then you ain't saying nothing that's worth hearing. And I just gave one small, like that's the bare minimum. And who's talking about it?
Where did I'm sorry, Mark, can I where was that article? Where did you get that from?
I wrote it.
You wrote it.
Yep.
Wow. Beautiful. I like that.
Ashe.
And like I said, I'm just some dipshit from Brooklyn. So I can come to this conclusion, and people that's way more educated and way more intelligent than me just can't figure it out. Don't you think something is wrong with that?
Yeah, I mean
There's
it's
something wrong with it, but people their attention is where they want to be at. Somebody don't support something I want to do. I've had, and Mark, this. I've done a few shows, and I used to do talent shows and pageants and stuff. People didn't support me with that. I had to do that shit by myself. And I was more in tune. I was more focused to do it because nobody believed in it, and I couldn't get them to believe in it.
Hmm.
So I just like people put their attention in on what they want to put their attention in, and I'm just not. I'm cool with that now.
I
yeah, but
agree
also
with you. I
a lot of
agree with
people
you.
They're interested in what they're interested in. If they're not interested in a black cause and somebody else's cause is more important to them, that's just who they are.
I agree with you. But here's the thing: don't call yourself a black leader.
Right.
Don't
I
call
agree.
yourself a black representative because I'm gonna call you out.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. Like you don't have to believe in your people. Don't get up here pretending that you do. That pisses
Right.
me off more than you not believing in them.
Right.
Because a person that doesn't get involved, I may be disappointed, but I can't be mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
when you go out here and you call yourself a black leader or a black representative, you talking all this slick black talk, And then when I start proposing something that's an actual solution and you run for the tall grass or you don't where to be seen, or you actually standing in the way of it,
Right.
then how you going to call yourself you representing black folks?
Yeah. Which is part of the problem, not the solution.
Exactly.
Hmm.
50 million black people in this country. If we collected that money, $1 a day from each black person, that's 1.5 billion in just for a month.
Wow.
And that's like I said, this is just straight savings. We're not even
And
talking
you
because once
think
you
that
get that
it's
much
so
of money,
easy.
you can leverage that money. You invest that money.
Yeah, it's easy to invest at that point.
Then how do you get the masses to believe that and understand that? That's where I'm going back to with my first initial comment or topic. Why are we not understanding each other? Why are we not getting it? Because we don't want to get it?
Because you can't get mad at the sheep if the sheep are scattered in the field. You got to find out where the goddamn shepherd.
Yeah, and other than that too, I think we're definitely broken, but we're broken with that same mentality of being crabs in the bucket. We've been
I've always hated that analogy, but I understand it. I hate that analogy though, but I understand it.
but what I was going to say is it's another program issue. It's a programming issue. So
Hmm.
anytime when you talk those amounts of money, and when you talk about somebody actually putting in or investing, because investing is still new to us for the most part.
Hmm.
For for most black people, just weren't used to investing. So now when you talk this, they're afraid. Not so much afraid of what they might be able to make or take from it, but they're afraid that you're going to make out in the end and they're going to get the short end of the stick, not really realizing they're already sitting on the short stick.
That's it.
Well, how come that doesn't? And the thing about it
Nobody
is, if
trusts
we
each
think it
other
through logically, you're already putting your money in a bank. How come you don't feel that same way about Chase? How come you don't feel that same way about Citibank?
because they trust Chase and Citibank has, bigger and prettier lights and the logo looks nice.
And your leadership are the people that you look to. Because, like I said, there is no leadership. But the people that we look to, the people that we are hold in high regard in our culture, don't give a shit about black people.
True.
Hmm.
Because if Jay-Z and Beyonce did a commercial for One United Bank, they would probably gain about a few $1 billion. Because
Hmm.
people are followers.
Yeah, but
Ultimately, at the end of the day, people are followers. 50 Cent liked a post from a stripper and she got 10,000 followers in one day.
Yeah, he does that a lot to help, he's admitted to doing that to help people get views.
Just by liking her post.
Hmm.
If Beyonce likes your post, you automatically become a celebrity.
Yeah, they know their power. They know the power behind their brand, their name, their
And they're
click. They
doing
know the power behind it.
absolutely
Hmm.
nothing with it. Nothing of substance.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Well,
got
for
Killer
them,
Mike. Killer Mike is doing the best that he can, but he's only Killer Mike. Not many
right.
people know him.
yeah, we know Killer Mike.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's people that's trying, but
he
the people that can make lend their voice. That's why I will always respect Muhammad Ali
yeah,
because
yeah, for what he did for us. Yeah,
Ali would put black businesses and black institutions on the map. Because if he was to go to a state, he wouldn't give an exclusive interview to the New York Post and the Daily News. He'd go to freaking Amsterdam.
yeah,
He knew the power of celebrity, the power of his personality.
Yeah, his brand. Hmm.
All it would take is for one major black celebrity to do a commercial for One United Bank, and their sales, the amount of deposits into that bank would increase.
And I'm like, bro, I can't be smoking, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, ultimately, there's no such thing as black leadership. I just gave a suggestion that is really doable, and it's really nothing unique. This is something Elijah Muhammad proposed.
Mm-hmm.
He said $10 a month. I'm saying 30. Fuck that. $1 a day.
And that's not hard. That's really not hard to do. It really isn't. Because I still believe in the universal law of that's a part of tithing. You're tithing into your community.
Let's say we cut it in half, not 50 million, 25. That's still $9 billion a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's cut it into a quarter. You know what I'm saying? No matter how you slice it, it doesn't make any sense that that's not what we're talking about.
We need to break. Some people need it broken down to them in the terms that. And see, I'm listening to everybody talk, and I understand it more. A lot clearer as I'm listening to you, Mark, and I'm listening to everybody. And everybody talk about our black dollars and how to get there. But I think where people are not connecting is that even Chase Bank started here. Mm-hmm. They started with someone saying, let's put our dollars together. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this.
Right.
They're not connecting that to the color of blackness in America and what we're trying to do. They're not am I saying this right? They're not connecting that that's how it goes.
Right.
That it even started with US Bank started the same way. Chase Bank started the same way. All of these big national banks started in these big conglomerate, places started the same way. We're not looking at it like that.
And
so
also,
when you come on social media and you say to someone, I have this organization that's for black, we're trying to build up the black community. We want to have our own black banks and this, and this. People hear it, but some people are not breaking it down in their minds, which is why I said we're not connecting. We're not hearing each other. We're not.
Okay,
we're not listening.
but when you mention these other banks and these other entities, the difference between the way that they do business and the way that we do business, two totally different pictures. Totally different. Now, I can respect the way that that Mark brought this up, the way that he explained it, because our intellect level is there where we can visualize it and okay, bam, bam, boom, it makes sense. Okay. Average brother may not see it the same way, or, or below average brother may not see it the same way. But in a lot of cases, when it came to some of these big corporations, what we also have to understand is they possess something that we don't. And in a lot of cases, that was old money. Okay. You were dealing with, because we know it's owned by all whites. So yeah, you can have 4 or 5 people in the room that are millionaires, billionaires. They can put this together, make it happen, start popping them up everywhere and do what they do. It works. But in our case, it's a lot different. And of course, they have extravagant dinners and, and do this big thing where they do a presentation. We don't always have, we can't always put it together the same way. I guess
why not?
is the easiest way. Why? In a lot of cases, because we may not have the same type of investment power that they do.
Or the connections
it's not
to that type of money.
They're connected to each other. These black celebrities and black rappers and black entertainers and black athletes are all connected to each other.
They are. I'm talking about at our level, starting off now, right here. Mm-hmm. See, because starting off right here, With us, with this group, yeah, we can go about, the people that I know, the people that she, he, and he, the people that we know in this group, and try to reach out and see if we can find something like that. But by the time we're done, yeah, we might collectively come up with 30 people that could really start getting the little snowball rolling until we actually make it a big enough ball. But even then, you end up with doubt, conflict. What are we doing? Where is it going? This isn't working. How do I get my money back? Because then there's no patience, because the picture's been painted.
Right.
Everybody can see the vision, but they don't understand the process. They don't understand it's going to be a process. Even if you tell them it's going to be a
That's
process.
exactly what I'm talking about. They don't
Well, let
understand the
me
process.
let me counter with this, and this will
Mhm.
make sense. Who won the Super Bowl?
What,
I
last year?
I don't
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
who's the Super Bowl team? Like, who was the last team that won? Is it Tampa
I
Bay?
have no clue. I don't
I
I
can't
don't
even
get in.
remember.
I don't sit and watch that stuff.
Okay, what sport are you into?
Golf and basketball.
Okay, who won the championship in basketball?
Uh, Hold on, Lakers, right? Yeah, Lakers
Is it
won last year. Was
is
it
that your
Lakers?
team?
Yeah, actually, Lakers is my team since Kobe was there. Before that, it was the Bulls, but
Wait,
then
did the Lakers win?
Well, the
I
Bucks
don't,
won.
no, the Bucks. You're right.
The
You're right. I'm
Bucks.
sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
let
Lakers got
me.
kicked out in the final round,
Mhm.
next to the
Yeah,
final
All
the
right,
round.
let
Bucks
me
won.
let me let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Where do the Lakers play at?
Staples Center,
Why
L.A.
didn't they tear the Staples Center down?
Because they got better sense than that.
Why? Why though?
Because they are intelligent enough to well, I can't really say intelligent enough, but I guess the easiest thing to say is they realize that if they tear it down, it's just rolling
Because they
into
got
their tax
another,
dollars. It
because
doesn't
they
make
got
sense.
another season. They got another season to play. They still got to practice and come back next year to try to rest.
Hold on, your
Wait, he
phone is
broke.
doing something real weird.
Yeah, pull away from the phone a little bit of your mojo.
Yeah,
Somebody
because
broke
we
up.
couldn't.
Oh, that was your Mojo? I can't even hear him.
Yeah, we couldn't understand any of
No,
it.
but the point that I'm making is they lost. They didn't win the championship. So why don't they tear the stadium down?
Oh, after they
Well, they
lose.
respect.
Right.
I think that they respected, the not only the property, the people, the institution. They know that 9 times out of 10 they would have ended up in jail if they tore it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they didn't do it, but I think respect has a lot to do with the reason why people do one thing or the other.
But there's
If I
another
don't
simpler
respect, if I
there's
don't
a
respect
simpler
you,
there's a simpler explanation.
Well, to tear it down, win or lose, really doesn't make sense. In
Why but
most
why?
cases, well, because in most cases, even in a win case, the reason that things like that end up getting tore down is because a lot of people are just opportunists. So
Guys,
they find a reason to do that silliness, uh, thinking that they on the come up from it.
You're gonna
But
laugh when you see where I'm going with this because you're making it way more complicated than it actually is.
like
okay,
it's
then the
actually
floor is
funny,
yours. You
right?
go ahead.
It's simple. Let me help
The-
them. Let me help them,
yeah,
Holla.
you give the
It's
answer.
it's simply because they still have some balling to do. They got to run it back next year. They still need to practice. Don't they got to
Yeah.
come back next year? They ain't just gonna say, "Oh well, we didn't win it. I guess we got to go ahead and just end the franchise." No, they got to run it back next year.
Well, the thing is, even
Do
if
you
they
see where I'm
tore it
going?
down,
But do
yeah,
you see where I'm going with that?
to a certain degree.
Where I'm
But
saying
go ahead.
is if your team does not win the championship that
Hmm.
year, you don't get rid of the team. You don't tear down the stadium. You don't say, "Oh well, we lost."
right?
There's next season. You
Hmm.
learn what you did wrong. You try to get more players that help you. In other words, if you lose, you can lose 5 years in a row and you will never get rid of your team. Let's take that and apply it to us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about how hard it is. I don't care what people feel we can do or can. We have a team and we're trying to win the fucking championship. And I
Right.
don't give a shit if we lost this year, next year, the year after that. You got to get that team together and you got to play because every team gets on that field and tries to win the fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
That's
then
my
when they
point.
but then when they don't, then it's time to trade. It's time to
Isn't
rebuild.
that's the
It
exact
may
same
not
thing that I'm
necessarily,
saying? That's
yeah,
the exact same thing.
but
And
it may
always
not.
you always have to be in the process of trying to win. That's my entire point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
okay.
And
losing
it
is
has to
not
be in,
losing will never be acceptable.
right.
Yeah, losing's
It
not
shouldn't be
supposed to be
in
an
no
option.
and no capacity of your life should lose and be
Right.
But you
accepted.
notice it's a different story when it comes to us as a people. Black
Mm-hmm.
Wall Street happened. Well, that's it for Black Wall Street. No more of that. Everything with us is one and done, but we not one and done when it comes to silly things like sports. When
Mm-hmm.
it comes to sports, that we can understand the concept of a next season.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But when it
Well,
comes to us, like when
Black
it comes to
Wall Street
power, like
that's
if you
another
tried to
level.
build something, oh well, we can't possibly build no more, or we can't do this no more because the white man did this. We're gonna have 1,000 fucking excuses as why we can't do something. The bottom line is we know what needs to be done. We need to go about the process of doing it. And we need to hold people accountable if they don't want to do it.
Right.
Everyday working people like us, we have a reason for us not to be involved in things because we're trying to put food, clothing, and shelter on the table. Like I said, nobody in a properly functioning black culture, nobody should even be listening to me. What are you listening to me for? I don't have any power. I don't have any advanced education. Why is anybody listening to me? If we had competent people, I wouldn't even have to be opening up my mouth. But that just goes to show you how sad things are when the people that's supposed to be doing this shit for us aren't doing anything. And now working class people got to figure out in their spare time while they trying to put food, clothing, and shelter, how to map out a socio-economic and political blueprint for the black nation in our spare time.
For our children and our children's children. Yes.
That is fucking sad.
It's sickening.
I take no pride in the fact that I know so much shit because it's so unnecessary. I could be doing other things with my life. If we
Mhm.
had black leaders, if we had an intelligentsia, if we had competent people that looked at our people and said, we need a future, why am I doing it? That's
Because
my point.
you're the person for the job, Mark.
That we're in some bad shape. If I'm the person for the
No,
job, we
no,
are in
we're
some
not.
bad fucking
Don't
shape.
say that. Don't say that. No, we're not. No, we're not. Just not enough people hear you, Mark. That's the only problem right now. It's not enough people that hear you. So using these channels, and that's why I'm glad you opened it up for to do these lives and have these conversations is, we need to push these narratives a lot stronger than what we do. So I'm glad it took a turn into this, from the original topic. But and I'm glad you guys all showed up. It's getting late and I don't want to keep everybody on
Yeah.
because I still see people in and out. But going forward, and like I said, I thank everybody for showing up tonight and this is an awesome conversation. Um, Going forward, the only thing I ask of you, and this is something that I'm doing now with my children and the people that are in my life that are close to me. Ask somebody this question, and this is going to be my next topic. Um, when it comes down to your children or your siblings or your friends, your loved ones, go and ask them the question, how do you see me? and see what answer you get. And that's going to be my next topic on Wednesday.
I'm gonna ask John Cena that question.
How do you see me?
And let them tell
Okay.
you, and listen to it. Don't argue with it, but let them tell you how they see you. Because sometimes I don't think we understand how people see us and why we get the responses sometimes that we do. So that's my next conversation, you guys.
Latasha, before
Okay.
you get off, before you end the stream,
Mm-hmm.
don't leave the studio. End the stream, but don't leave the
Okay.
studio because I want to help you with something.
Okay.
Okay. All
All
right.
right,
Peace,
y'all.
family.
Y'all
I
have a
would
good
like to
night.
Peace,
say
Oh,
Maddie.
good night. I
I'm
would
sorry.
like to say
Very.
before we close, there's something that Emoja said that stayed with me. He said that we manifest partners in our lives, etc., but we need to manifest what we're talking about. And I'm paraphrasing Emoja, so forgive me, but we need to manifest what we want when it comes to building a nation of our own. And that really stays with me because I do believe in manifestation. I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic and the magic of life that I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe that we start with who we have in the here and the now. We
Mm-hmm.
start with who we have in the here and the now
Mm-hmm.
and build on upon that. But again, collectively, I agree with you, Emoja, that we have to take it to the next level in terms of manifesting that. So that really stayed with me. So thank you for that. And thank you, Latasha and Holip and all you guys. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure
Mm-hmm.
You
meeting you
wel-
people.
you
Yeah.
you
Yes,
welcome,
pleasure,
man.
you
You
guys. Thank you,
you can
guys.
paraphrase me anytime. For real, you have a powerful voice. For real.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And hello to the little baby, whoever that is.
The baby agrees.
Right. All right.
All
Peace.
right. Well,
All right.
Peace,
everybody be
y'all.
Good
blessed.
night,
Have a good night.
everyone.
Good night.
Stay with me, Latasha.
I will. So end it.
Yeah, you just end the stream,
Yeah.
but don't leave the studio.
Okay, I did. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.